And the first one is the ability to provide custom Google Meet background images for your users. This would have been great during COVID when schools were locked down. Now, you can't force apply these to users, but you can provide a branded background image for users to put into their own Google Meet. You go into admin console, you set it up from the admin console, upload your custom images, and then users in your domain would have access to those custom backgrounds. The next Google Meet, or the next release update, is again for Google Meet, and it's about an external label for Google Meet participants. I know this hasn't fully rolled out yet, so we already have the custom background option, but I haven't seen this yet. And what it is, it's a small label that appears at the top of the screen showing that you have external participants in your Google Meet. So if you had, for example, a school meeting and you have your staff in the meeting and you have parents in there from an external domain, from a Gmail address, for example, then it would show a quick reminder at the top that you have external participants. Okay, chat spaces. Next up is an update to something that was already announced last year. So the Space Manager capabilities in Google Chat have been expanded. So what was announced last year was the ability to, for the Space Manager to obviously remove and add participants, delete a space, delete messages, and so on. There are now 3 additional permissions that they have, or capabilities. They can configure the space. They have better member management, so you can decide if members can add or remove people within the space, and then conversation moderation as well. So that's for the Space Manager capabilities. So that's really all of these, everything listed down here is possible by the Space Manager. I think we'll probably just very briefly just mention this. If you're managing Android devices, then you'll need to upgrade to the latest Android device policy. We'll skip past this one. Yeah, Heather, I just saw your note actually in the chat. We'll talk about that in a minute. That's coming up actually. Google Meet on Poly Android based appliance. Is anybody using the Poly Android devices for Google Meet in their schools? Do they have them set up? Right, we'll leave that there. You can look at the slides a little bit later. It's just an update for that hardware. Big update to the interface. I think most people have probably seen this already. There's been a big update to the Google Drive, the Docs, Sheets, and Slides interface. So that view has been modified. And there's a couple of things I just want to highlight. What I really, really like. The GIF here, the animated GIF here is showcasing how the new search chips work within Google Drive, which is great. I really like the file type selector there. So you can easily filter on file type. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my screen. Peter, just checking. Can you see my screen? It's a little bit delayed. Oh, there we go. So just a quick overview of what the updates are to the new interface. And this is just in Google Sheets. Docs and Slides have a similar update. What I really like is this new sort of clock icon at the top. And when you click on that, you get to see the version history of your document or your sheets or your slides. It's just a really quick way to see the version history rather than going through the menu. It's a very, very quick way to see the version history of something. And secondly, and I don't think we have it just yet, but when you when you right click within the Google Sheet, there is a new option, and it's not been released yet to this domain. There's a new option now to insert a filter from the right click menu as well. We don't see that here just yet, but if you right click, you'll be able to insert filters from that. And secondly,
on that one, I was just going to mention I've had a few questions about the activity dashboard button disappearing, but that is still available. Just go to the tools menu and you can see activity dashboard in there. But yeah, I know it's caught a few people out where that button which used to be at the top to see that has disappeared, but it is still in Sheets and Docs.
Well, that's funny. I've always only accessed it from the tools menu. That's interesting. Cool. Thanks, Peter. And the second thing to mention about Google Sheets, again, Smart Chips launched probably, I think maybe 2 years ago now. I'm just trying to think back to when they launched. So this is just a very quick overview of the Smart Chips that you have available. So within Smart Chips, I'll zoom in a little bit. I know this is probably quite small. So within Smart Chips, you can already type in the @ sign and it comes up with a list of recommendations. And if you type in the name of somebody, then you can add a Smart Chip to a person. You can also do the same for a file as well. So if you type in the @ sign and you type in the name of a file, that will come up and be recommended for you to insert as a Smart Chip. You can do the same for dates. So you can type in the @ sign. It will actually sort of recommend some Smart Chips here around date. But if you type in @date, then it will automatically list the different date Smart Chips that you can use. The same for drop downs. I think we talked about this before, but again, you can type in the @ sign. You can, I think it's near the bottom. I'm zoomed in. It's going to be hard to see. There we go. We've got drop downs just there, and you can define a drop down box. And a drop down would look like this. You can define the colors and the entries within the drop down box. Now, what's new, finally get to the actual release, what is new is you can now type in a place. So for example, if I hit the @ sign, type in the name of a school, so NIST, for example, in Bangkok, we can see that there. We can see an overview of the map, and I click on the name of the place, it will insert that place into the cell. And then when you hover over it, you get to see the little Google Map overview of the place. The last one, just to mention very quickly, is the finance Smart Chips as well. You can enter a ticker symbol. For example, this is the Google ticker symbol, or you can even enter a currency exchange. So you could type in, for example, USD, THB, and you can use the finance Smart Chip for that as well to bring up the exchange rate. So it's all pretty cool. A lot of different features just there. Get back to the updates deck. So that's the new interface. Oh yeah, one more thing. I don't think we mentioned it. When you're doing a filter now in Google Sheets, it will, at the bottom of the screen, at the bottom of the Google Sheet, it will show how many rows are remaining after you've done the filter, or it will show how many rows have been selected with the filter. Okay, we'll just pause momentarily from the updates. Just a quick plug for our remote support and training service. I think we mentioned this last month, but just a quick reminder, if anybody is interested in freeing up some time from their admin teams, please drop myself or Dan an email, and we'll happily share some details about that. What we can do, we can operate in a couple of different manners. We can provide support and training for your admin team, or what we're actually increasingly doing now is actually acting as the Google admin for the domain, for schools domains as well. This frees up time of busy tech directors, of course, and also enables you, it gives access to schools to, because our team is obviously Peter and Charlie and other admins, where this is all we're doing all the time, is keeping up to date with all of the latest Google releases and security features and so on. So it gives you immediate access to that knowledge base. So yeah, please drop us an email, myself or Dan an email, we can go through that. Okay, Google Voice is receiving an update. Google Voice is Google's telephony service. We're able to provide this. We're a Google Voice partner as well. So if any schools are interested in that, please contact us and we can share more details about that. Quick update to Google Keep. And there's an update to tasks and reminders we'll talk about in a minute as well. Google Keep Notes can now be pinned to an Android screen. This is clearly an Android tablet, but it obviously works on Android phones as well. So you can just pin a Google Keep Note to an Android device. I'm sure there's a lot of iPhone users out there. Personally, I'm using Android. I think this is great. Client-side encryption is now available. I think we mentioned this update a couple of months ago. It's now been fully rolled out. And so client-side encryption now is across Gmail, and it's been announced for Google Calendar as well. There is a caveat that is only available for Google Calendar on the web at the moment, not for mobile devices, although there is a beta coming for Google Calendar client-side encryption for mobile devices. Okay, next is another update for Google Meet. The noise cancellation feature that is already available on the web version is now going to be available on when you're dialing in on mobile devices as well. And this is, Heather, you just mentioned this a couple of minutes ago. This is the update that Heather alluded to in the chat, that all new Google Chat Spaces will use the inline threading. So that's not what we have on the Apps Events Google community. We don't have inline threading, but they will utilize inline threading. And you can see in this image just here how you can see the replies to a specific message are. And later this year, it doesn't actually say when this is going to happen, but later this year, every space which is configured the old way, the way the community is configured currently, is going to be updated to inline threading. I don't know when that will be happening, but that will be happening, as it says, later this year. I'm sure that they will surprise us with that update when it happens. Okay, quick update to Google Calendar. Suggested work locations are going to appear on when you're creating an event within Google Calendar. This is probably great when you have people working across different buildings or even across different campuses as well. Okay, I think this is going to be a really good thing to talk about next month. I know some of the features which are being launched are only going to be coming to the paid editions of Google. So if you haven't checked out Google Education Plus just yet, if you want to get a trial, next month will be a great opportunity to have a trial for Google Workspace Education Plus. And I think we'll talk about a little bit more about those features which are coming next month. The Google Sheets Smart Canvas, so the Smart Chips features, we just talked about those a couple of minutes ago. But again, here's a slide. And if you click through to the slide, it'll go through to the support doc, and you can see the full details of the Smart Chips and Smart features. This update, adding trusted types, is more of a developer feature. I know that Laurie, you might want to look at this, or John Gerhardt, if he's here. A few of our developers may want to look at this, but for most people, this would not apply to them. Okay, this one is great. We're just talking, in fact, Peter and I were just talking about this a couple of minutes ago. The visibility of warning banners in Gmail. So now there's an admin control to turn off warning banners for a specific allow list of senders or for all users. And the main use case for this would be if you're doing any anti-phishing training on your domain with your staff, for example, and you don't want a warning banner to appear during that training, then you could turn off those warning banners. Okay, actually, I really like this. Very simple update here. So the sidebar within Google Drive, in fact, all of the Google products now, has the Google Contacts short link as well. So rather than having to navigate to contacts.google.com, if you just go to your sidebar on the right-hand side, there's a contacts icon, and you can easily add and edit contacts from within the sidebar. And I think this will be the last one. I'm sure this is the last one for this month. Is Google Calendar and Assistant reminders are being migrated to Google Tasks. This is good because now reminders are really across several different products, and you don't really know whether to go to Calendar to look at your reminders, you go to Tasks to look at your reminders. Well, all reminders are now going to be in Google Tasks. So they're going to be migrated. There will be a notification about it if you haven't enabled that. I think there's going to be a notification next month about that for any tasks, any reminders that haven't been migrated yet. But that's coming up, so you won't go to Calendar to create reminders. It will all be within Tasks now. Okay, I think that is it for our updates.